Andrew from Wolf Mother was outside the door, so I told Andrew to get on in here, and we're going to get over to his stuff in a second. Good to see you, man. We get up on the mic so we
Thanks
can
for having
talk.
you on the show. And
I just found out. I was looking, I don't know, on social media or whatever, and I saw you playing at Irving Plaza tonight, Wolf Mother.
Oh, nice.
And then last time I saw you was in Houston. You played that great gig in Houston, which we'll mention. And I was like, my God, it killed. We exchanged numbers. I hit you with a text late last night, and here you are.
Yeah, at 1:30 in the morning.
Well, I figured you live in Australia, so I don't know what time that was for you.
Oh, and I just
probably
got
the next
back.
day at 13 or 14 hours difference, right?
Yeah. And it was gig time, too, so you're on the perfect
I'm pretty nocturnal to begin with, but I know Australia's like the next
you
day or
emailed
something.
me at 1:30.
Well, I know. I figure people mute their phones if they're sleeping. Do you mute your phone when you sleep?
No, I just turn it off, but it buzzes, but I don't hear it.
All right. Well, so were you sleeping when I
usually
texted
up
you?
at 1:30 anyway. I was sleeping last night because
sorry,
just
guys.
got back from Florida from doing that cooking show.
So, Carm, when were you in Australia for the first time? With what band?
First time was with Rod Stewart, 1976, I think.
Andrew, you weren't born yet, were you?
I was born that year.
Yeah, we played.
Andrew was a fetus on your show.
We played all over Australia, but the one that really hits me is we played 6 nights in that venue that looks like this in Sydney. 6 nights there.
Oh, the Opera House.
Yeah, and then we played the stadium. So we played in front of like 90,000 people down there.
Rod Stewart has been hugely popular for a long time.
Yeah, and we number one. Do You Think I'm Sexy was number one when we got there. That's where we found out it was number one in America. It was number one in Australia, and we played. And we met Jeff Beck that day because Jeff Beck was playing one of those nights in that thing. And we played 6 nights in that in the stadium. That's when I got Jeff and Rod back together. Enemies.
How many times have you been? How many different bands have you gone to Australia with? Because I hear now you're from Australia, obviously, Andrew. I've never been, but I hear that I've always heard that the rock audiences are great there.
I was only there with Rod. We went there 2 or 3 times, and I did a drum clinic tour there.
Oh, okay.
And it was amazing. I broke all the attendance records. I did 2,000 people in Melbourne, over 1,000 people in Sydney for a drum clinic. It was crazy, you know.
Yeah, I've never been, but I'm told that metal show aired there, and people saw my TV show in Australia. But I had a lot of opportunity to go there. People saying come, but I've never gone.
Great show.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Well, you should do what would you do, like a convention or something?
I don't know, some speaking thing or some hosting thing. I don't know.
That's where that metal
It's
show.
a long-ass
idea.
flight. It's a long-ass flight, though, for one-time
It's a lot less
program.
now than it used to be, though.
How is it that? They find a way to go faster?
Yeah.
Come on.
The planes are, what is it?
12 hours?
Yeah,
From
where do you
LA
live?
to Brisbane or Sydney?
Yeah, see, it used to be 21 hours in the old days because they used to have to land somewhere and get gas.
Fiji.
Yeah, like Fiji or something.
Yeah,
used to land and get gas.
So it actually is shorter distance-wise.
Because now I have the planes that go direct.
All right. What was your first show, Andrew? What was the first band you ever saw live?
First band that I bought a ticket for was Bob Dylan at the Entertainment Center.
Oh.
How old were you?
About 15.
15.
And the guy next to me who bought a ticket got up halfway through and gave him the finger and walked out.
I don't blame him.
Why was it when it's supposed to be acoustic and it was electric, or what happened?
Well, because he
How boring is Bob Dylan? Man? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, why did you go to? You're a rocker, man. How did you end up at a Dylan show for your first show as a kid?
Hey, Jerk and the Thief, man.
You what?
Jerk and the Thief. All along the Watchtower, a lot of those lyrics have influenced me.
Oh, I'm not dissing Dylan, but I'm just saying that of all, like, that was what you cut your teeth on. It was a Dylan thing. That's like you wouldn't
Highway
think.
61.
No, I get it.
That was I played that. Yeah.
Yeah, you played the Hendrix version, so it influenced you.
But this was, I don't know, it was different. It was more of like a, hippie kind of, he was wearing a bandana and...
Yeah.
But
you guys got the same kind of hair. You and Bob.
I won't describe it.
Especially today with all the humidity, it's raining out. Andrew's hair's gone into a whole different zone here.
Yeah, right.
But
what was your first gig?
Here in New York City.
That you ever...
Madison Square Garden.
It wasn't Kiss, was it?
Yes. December 6th, when Kiss was Kiss.
Oh, you?
Wow.
When Kiss was Kiss.
When Kiss was Kiss.
December 16th, 1977, Love Gun / Alive 2 tour. Wow. The original 4, the third of 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Right up the street at Madison Square
here's
Garden.
A question. What was your first album you had?
Oh, Grace.
Was it?
Grace. The Grace soundtrack.
Grease soundtrack.
The Grace soundtrack.
When people ask me, what was your first album? They expect me to say, like Beatles, Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich.
Well, as a drummer, I mean, that
seems
album. To make sense, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of drummers, like Grease, guitar player, right?
I don't know what it was just there. It was like covers of Grease. I was completely ripped off, wasn't it?
It's funny.
It wasn't even really the Grease soundtrack. It was Grease reimagined.
Yeah,
like your first one must have been Kiss.
Of course, yeah. My first record was Kiss Destroyer. Well, actually, I take that back. The record for me that my first introduction to rock music was a band called the Raspberries.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing Go All the Way.
Yeah.
And hearing the distorted riff with the melody.
Yeah.
Because I always loved melody with heaviness.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I ever listened to that wasn't like the Partridge Family or Little Kids music. I was like 10, 11 years old.
Zeus, man. So you got to hear Guitar
Zeus. And then so I got interested in that's the first like proper rock that I heard. And then we were walking home from school and my friend said, "Hey, you should check out this band." Yeah. Oh yeah. I still love the Raspberries.
We went to I went to Japan with Eric Carmine, with Carmine Appice, Super Session Volume 1. Tom Peterson on bass, Eric Carmine, Rick Derringer, and me, and Dwayne Hitchings.
That's a great band.
It was a great band. We did the Budokan. We did 4 other shows, and but Eric was drunk every night. It wasn't good. But he almost fell off. He was doing it all by myself. He almost fell off the piano stool one night at the Budokan.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but it was a great band. It really was fun.
See, for you, Andrew, I find it interesting that it started with Dylan and the Grease soundtrack because you went on to make Wolf Mother's a pretty kick-ass rocking band, a heavy, big riff band. I wouldn't think that's what you would said. That's all.
Yeah, it's
I thought maybe you'd say the Beatles, Revolver.
No, he's young. He's
still,
He's young. He's not young. He's younger.
Youngish.
Yeah. You're early 40s, right?
Yeah.
And in 1976, is that when you were born?
Yeah.
I mean, the Beatles Revolver album was still big amongst.
Oh, well, still people. The
Beatles then later on, it kept going.
So what were you seeing as a kid growing up in Australia? Like, did a lot of American bands...
Countdown. Have you ever heard of a show called Countdown?
No.
It was like Australia's Top of the Pops.
We played on it with Rod.
Really?
Yep. I did Countdown.
We used to watch that, and there was, it was like more kind of Iggy Pop was on there.
Yeah.
Glam rock.
Yeah, it was like Top of the Pops.
Was there what's radio like in Australia? Is it like one station like England, or do they have is there all different formats like here in America?
These days it's there's a whole bunch of commercial networks.
It used to be back in the day. It used to be just like England. But then they graduated to more of commercial radio. Yeah.
One sort of big rock station called Triple M,
right? That
still exists now. And then a kind of government sort of independent station.
Mm-hmm.
But not as sophisticated as this outfit.
This is American Canada, man. It's national broadcast here going on, but that's pretty cool when you think about it. But so I find that interesting though. But a lot of American bands when you were a kid were coming through Australia. Besides Carmine with Rod Stewart, were there others a lot of bands that you saw coming through Australia at that time growing up?
Alice Cooper did
back in
Australia plenty of times.
Yeah, like what else do you remember as a kid growing up that you went to see your early shows?
Putting me on the spot now. I don't know.
You don't remember your early, your first shows, like the first bands you saw early on besides Dylan?
Well,
what was the first heavy rock show you saw?
First heavy rock show. Well, let me think. More in my sort of when I went to uni. That's when I started going to more gigs.
When you went to where?
Uni, studying photography in Melbourne.
Oh, I didn't know that.
University College.
Well, that's cool.
University.
Yeah. So what'd you see then?
Yeah. What did I see?
I'm curious.
Man, there's like
Because I'm trying to figure
Metal
out...
Blood Duster. I think I mentioned that to you, didn't I?
Who?
In Las Vegas when I first met you.
Yeah, we talked metal. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to...
Yeah, I shared a... well, I didn't share a dorm with him, but I used to have a friend at uni. You call it college.
University.
University had a room. He used to play Morbid Angel.
In Morbid Angel?
Morbid Angel. And
oh,
he used to... Like, he was this guitar maestro, and we'd all sort of sit around and watch this guy shred.
So is that how you got into... Because you like metal as well. Is that how you got into metal?
That's how I developed more of a appreciation for it, that I was a flamenco guitarist.
Really?
So, yeah, it's kind of weird that...
Did you dance, too?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah, for 1 week.
Flamenco is great, all drum rhythms and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know. This guy wanted me to become a
do
flamenco dancer.
I could play some sticks and you could dance. You play and dance.
Well, you guys are developing a whole new thing here.
It was pretty...
Yeah, this is fun. I'm glad you brought him in.
Carmine.
Yeah, this guy who I went and saw, he was surrounded by... He had 50 women around him. He lived off red wine and coffee.
And that did it for you.
Couch was covered in cash, and I was like, "What does this guy do?"
I want
little Spanish guy.
I want to do this, right?
And I was probably 14, and I went down and got guitar lessons.
I was practicing drums in my house in Brooklyn, and I noticed every time I practiced, all these little girls my age would be outside my enclosed porch, and they'd be dancing around. I said, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
But Carmine always comes down to the girls. He traveled all over Australia for one. He played on the porch in Brooklyn for them when they were little. He did everything. Oh, man. All right, well, listen, I'm going to let you get out of here. I'm going to let Andrew have some time here to talk about what he's got going on with Wolf Mother. Carmine's album, Guitar Zeus, it's out now. Grab it on all the platforms, wherever you get your music, physical, streaming, download. You can get it all that way. Yeah, Kodiak is the band that you're managing.
The song Goodbye is on all the streaming channels, and it's a awesome band.
And we'll see what else. Carmine's always got different things cooking, so we'll be visiting with him, I'm sure, again in the near future. Yeah. Good to see you, Carm.